Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Bachelor's Gabby remains angry and hurt after Zach violated her privacy. Still getting over all of it. I'm going to play the clips from Kaitlyn Bristow's podcast Off the Vine for you guys, and you'll be able to hear for herself how she's doing. It's one of those stories. It's a few weeks after the finale, and a lot of people have calmed down. But somebody, Gabby, she still has to live with the tarnish that comes from being on the show. Do me a favor, follow me on Patreon at patreon.com/Dave Neal, and also Instagram at DNeals for all the content, not to mention Bachelor Rush Hour, the afternoon podcast, bachelorrushhour.com. So before we share this, there's so much breaking news. I'm going to get to this on Bachelor Rush Hour. The Bachelor's crisis over race runs deeper than its creator, LA Times. It turns out Michelle Young gave the producers an ultimatum. Comment on this scenario or I'm out. I'm going to have that content for you guys at bachelorrushhour.com. You can stream it for free anywhere you listen to YouTube, anywhere you watch YouTube. You can also check out Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. It's free. You just hit the play button. You can do your chores and listen or commute, whatever you want. It's there, bachelorrushhour.com. Okay, let's go to Off the Vine and check it out, what she had said. Here is our first clip from Gabby on Kaitlyn Bristow's podcast, Off the Vine.
The whole day, and I talked about this after the final rose as well. People saw me all of a sudden like freak out and just like come unhinged. And, there was a lot that led up to that. And I think people also saw, Zach's mood towards me change in that moment where he did show me that support. And there was a lot that went on, behind the scenes that led to that moment. And it was difficult to watch that. Like, we had so many positive, fun moments, and that's what was shown. And I said that, I've said that before. And even, at our dinner conversation, I said this to Zach after the final rose, but we had a really in-depth conversation about our insecurities, our healing journeys, how I've been to therapy. He was so supportive of that. He was so encouraging of that. It was just like a really special moment that was not shown. And unfortunately, things go out of order sometimes. And like some of those interviews, like, I know who I am. And I think people saw me for me the entire season. And so for people to see this side of me that's a seductress,
yeah,
I don't know I was like, what is this? Like,
yeah,
I don't know her.
So she's saying that some things were taken out of order, which we know happens. And of course, she could be sued for saying that. She says it very subtly. Things are taken out of order. Like, I'm a seductress. Like, what's this from? It could have literally been from anything. And, of course, we like to expose that. But some people have left comments saying, oh my gosh, Gabby, get over it. What do why are you still talking about this? Why are you milking the fame? A lot of people have left these types of comments. And it's like, look, she's on a podcast interview and she's just sharing her side of the story. She's sharing her truth, which she is allowed to do. And we are appreciative of that. Keep sharing.
My friends deserve it.
Oh, next clip here. All right.
People that give you the feedback that you need versus the feedback that trolls are going to give you. Like, you don't want their feedback. You don't need their advice. You don't need these people that see a tiny glimpse of you. And for 1 week of fantasy suites, they give you like heat for a bit. You're not, they're not aligned with those people and their feedback, that's it. It doesn't matter. Especially, I love hearing you say, I know who I am. I mean, you were in love with somebody. You were having a moment with somebody that you thought was your future partner in life.
Yeah, but Gabby signed up for this. She should have known what she was getting into. Good grief. You know what I mean? People are so, someone called me condescending today. No, I like the community we have where people feel like I'm talking directly to them. But the truth is, some folks are just mad out there. Why did she sign up for it? It's like, first of all, listen, Trisha, you would crumble under the pressure if the Starbucks line was too long. So let's pretend like we haven't been in this situation and we wouldn't do better. You know what I mean?
And I know he had told you he wanted to keep it private. Do you, watching back, did you get some closure or any kind of moments where you were like, I felt produced at times, he feels produced at times, he probably was told this? Or were you like, that was a private moment. You went against our word. No excuse. I'm not excusing because I agreed with what you said after the final rose.
What I think is difficult is that I think the repercussions of it, of exposing me on the level that he did, I wish that he had thought that through more. There is a way to have a conversation and say, I was intimate with someone this week, or I was intimate in some form this week.
And then Ariel's like, it wasn't me. But of course, he already told Ariel they weren't going to bop. So, everyone knew it was her. But yeah, I agree with her point that leave some plausible deniability here.
What hurt me was, it wasn't just to Katie. It was to Jesse. It was to all of his interviews time and time again. I mean, how many times, I could play a drinking game with how many times it was said, I had sex with Gabby. Using my name, which is,
yeah. Right.
What watching it back, I was like, what? Are you kidding? Could we not leave any room for imagination here? It was sex of any kind is off the table.
Right.
But it was just so explicit of what had happened, and using my name time and time again that hurt me. And that's what I was trying to address after the final rose, because I knew that, the secret had been shared. I got the gist of that based on his speech and, my conversation with Katie afterwards, but I didn't know to the extent of what was shared. So I do want to give him some grace and understanding of, hey, I understand there's pressure here. There's pressure to tell, this secret you felt like you were holding, and you probably felt like you were holding a secret more because you had all this pressure. So I do recognize that.
Have you forgiven Zach at this point?
I am not somebody that holds grudges.
Okay. I love it. I love when there's a yes or no question and the person's like, here's the deal. So clearly, but I respect what Gabby's about to say.
Towards people, I don't hold resentment. I don't hold anger. Do I think I'm going to be pals with Zach? No. Am I still angry and hurt? Absolutely. But
boy, what a tough position. Now, obviously, Gabby's in a tough position, but what a brutal position for everyone involved. Katie wants to stay friends with Gabby. Gabby needs to share her opinion, which is I got stiffed. I got shafted here. No pun intended, respectfully. And then Zach's trying to be like, Katie, come on, you're the one. I love you. And then obviously Katie's like, yeah, but my best friend banged you, or you banged my best friend consensually right before we got proposed to. So you're going to owe me a couple extra vacations.
He is going to hopefully marry one of my close friends, and I plan to stay in Katie's life. And for me to hold.
I guess the question is, does Gabby become a bridesmaid of Katie's, or maybe Gabby's the ring, the flower girl? What's her position in this whole wedding?
Hate towards him and anger and resentment. I'm hoping I can let that go at some point, but I do think that at this point, I still feel violated, and I'm still getting over all of it. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
it does not.
It does. And I hope you know that that's so valid. You feeling that way and still feeling actually that really hurt me and I still feel violated, I hope you know is extremely valid. You have your own timeline. Nobody's expecting you to forgive and forget. And because you're friends with Katie, you can get past, you're still allowed to have your own feelings. And on that note, obviously I had Zach and Katie on the podcast, and I do love the friendship between all the women. And I thought that was so important. And I do love that they showcased that, and we were able to see that through your social medias and everything. But how hard is that, supporting such a good friend with somebody that has hurt you, who you still feel hurt towards?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because I only want what's best for Katie, but I don't think that Zach is a bad person. I don't think that he is a vindictive, mean person. I don't think he meant to hurt me. I think he just did because he cared. He wanted to save his relationship with Katie, and that's the person he loves and he wants to spend his life with. And so I can't fault him for that. I'm upset and I'm disappointed, and I, you know, I have a lot of emotions, and some of them don't necessarily have words, but I want the best for her. And so if he makes her happy and he respects her and he shows her, you know, love, and he protects her, then I'm happy for them. And, you know, if I ever see that not happening, I'll be like, Katie, you need to walk away, just like I would do with any one of my friends and whoever they're dating.
That's a good friend. All right. Let me know what you guys think here. Happy Gabby's sharing her truth. And this is where it leaves us. We, you know, like the story just doesn't go away. Sure, it'll get less views. This won't be some viral video, but Gabby's going to continue to share her side of things and overcome that. And she's going to meet new guys and have new experiences. And slowly but surely, she'll get over Zach. And by that time, and assuming her relationship with Katie continues, I'm sure that Gabby will be just fine hanging out with them. I don't know. What do you guys think? Speaking of couples that like reunite after like breaking up, Love is Blind is just wild right now. You guys watching this stuff? I've got my last video. It is all blowing up, and the DMs are crazy from people. You thought Bachelor Nation was toxic. Where are they finding some of these Netflix Love is Blind folks? Respectfully, there is a lot going on there. Love is Blind has its final episode this Friday, and then Sunday has a live reunion show taped. It's airing live, and I'm going to go live after that for an after show Sunday evening. So if you want to be up to date with all of that, just follow me on Instagram for the alerts at DNeals, and don't forget patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind the scenes bonus content. I dropped some tea today, might get me in trouble, but go check that out if you want. Patreon.com/Dave Neal, and we'll be back after this with the podcast BachelorRushHour.com.